It's 7 a.m. on a Sunday. You didn't set an alarm. You slept 8 hours. And somehow you're lying there, eyes open, with this low background hum in your chest. Not anxious, not stressed, not thinking about anything wrong. Just on. Like a machine that never got the signal to power down. That's not a mood. That's not a personality type. That's a system that was never given the conditions to reset. In a few minutes, the word fasting is going to mean something completely different to you. It's not a diet, not a restriction, a signal, one your nervous system was built to receive and almost never gets anymore. And here's what's interesting. The word fasting got hijacked. It became a word about food, about skipping breakfast, counting hours, restricting calories. But the original biological function of fasting has almost nothing to do with calories. It's a reset protocol, a deep maintenance cycle the body runs when it gets the right signal, one that most people haven't accessed in years. Not because they're eating wrong, but because the modern nervous system never gets quiet enough to start it. If you stay with me, you'll understand exactly what that signal is, why your system stopped receiving it, and what actually happens inside the body in the first 24 hours when the reset finally begins. Not what you should do, what the body does on its own when it gets the space. And if this is already connecting with something you've felt but never had words for, hit like, subscribe, and send this to someone who needs to hear it. This is the kind of content that doesn't reach people unless you move it. Now let's get into it. Think of your autonomic nervous system like a building with two electrical circuits. One is wired for emergency operations, the alarm systems, the locks, the cameras. The other runs maintenance, heating, ventilation, the slow, deep infrastructure that keeps the building functional long term. The rule the building was designed around: both circuits can't run at full power at the same time. The emergency circuit gets priority, always. That's sympathetic and parasympathetic. Fight or flight versus rest and repair. And in a world where the emergency circuit never fully switches off, where your phone buzzes at 11 p.m., where background noise never stops, the maintenance systems run at a fraction of their capacity for years. Here's the reframe that changes how you read everything else. Your nervous system doesn't respond to what's actually happening. It responds to what the body perceives is happening. A tense email, a notification you haven't opened yet. These trigger the same cascade as a physical emergency at lower intensity, but for much longer. The problem isn't that your stress response is broken. It was built for short, sharp activation followed by full recovery. Modern life removed the recovery part entirely. The first character of our story doesn't get mentioned enough, and when it does, it gets reduced to a breathing trick. That undersells it completely. The vagus nerve. Think of it as the main highway between your brain and almost every major organ: your heart, your lungs, your gut, your liver. It's not just carrying signals down from the brain, it's carrying signals up. About 80% of the traffic goes from the body to the brain, which means the state of your gut, the rhythm of your heart, the tension in your diaphragm. These aren't just responding to how you feel. They're informing how you feel in real time. When vagal tone is strong, the parasympathetic system does its job. Heart rate variability increases. Digestion runs properly. Inflammation gets regulated. When vagal tone is low, the system runs on low maintenance power for months, for years. And you feel it as that background hum, the wired and tired state that sleep doesn't fix and coffee makes worse. Vagal tone isn't fixed. It responds to inputs. And one of the most powerful inputs is something the body was designed to receive regularly and almost never gets anymore: the absence of food, not starvation. The natural window of no incoming nutritional signal that used to happen between the last meal of the day and the first of the next morning, 12 to 16 hours, because there was nothing to eat in the dark, and the body built an entire biological protocol around that silence. When food stops arriving, really stops, long enough that blood sugar stabilizes, insulin drops, the digestive tract goes quiet, something shifts. Processing is done. The body redirects. The vagus nerve is one of the first systems to feel it. The signals going up to the brain carry a different message: safe, stable, no immediate demand. Sympathetic tone starts to ease. parasympathetic tone rises, slowly, but the direction changes. And that's exactly where the second character comes in, cortisol. Most people think of it as the villain, the thing that ruins sleep, causes weight gain, needs to be fought. But that misses what cortisol actually is. Think of it as your body's mission briefing system. Every morning, cortisol spikes, naturally, intentionally, to wake up the organism and prime it for the day. It mobilizes energy, sharpens focus, prepares the immune system. That spike is supposed to rise fast, then come down clean through the morning. The problem isn't cortisol. The problem is a curve that never comes down. When the nervous system stays in low-grade emergency mode, emails, noise, blood sugar spiking and crashing, cortisol gets recruited again and again. Not in large doses, in small, sustained ones. Researchers at the University of California found that chronically low-level cortisol elevation is actually harder on the system than acute spikes, because the body has a protocol for recovering from a spike. It doesn't have one for a drizzle that never stops. And here's the connection most explanations skip. Eating late, especially carbohydrates, triggers insulin, which recruits cortisol to manage the metabolic response. The body's version of a nighttime mission briefing happens right when the system should be shifting into full maintenance mode. It doesn't know it's 10 p.m. and you're bored. It reads the biochemical signal. And the signal says, active, not finished yet. When the processing window finally closes, insulin comes down, the liver finishes its overnight work, blood sugar stabilizes, cortisol can run its intended arc without interference. The curve gets to be a curve again. And that normalization isn't just about stress. It's about immune regulation, inflammatory markers, the threshold at which the body decides a cell needs repair versus replacement, which is where the third character enters, autophagy. The word comes from Greek, self-eating, and that name sounds alarming when it's actually one of the most elegant systems in the body. Think of it like the overnight maintenance crew that comes into a building after everyone leaves. During the day, small damage accumulates everywhere. Nothing serious, nothing that stops the building from functioning, but hundreds of issues that need attention. The crew doesn't work during business hours. They come in when it's quiet, when there's no traffic, and move through every room repairing, replacing, disposing of what can't be fixed. Autophagy is that crew. It only deploys when mTOR, the body's primary growth and build sensor, goes quiet because there's no incoming nutrition. Research from Yoshinori Osumi's laboratory, which received the Nobel Prize for this work, established that autophagy upregulates significantly within the first 16 to 24 hours of a fasting window. The cells accumulating damage, the misfolded proteins, the mitochondria running at reduced efficiency, the crew finally gets access. But here's what most explanations miss. Autophagy isn't just cellular cleanup. It's particularly active in neurons, in the enteric nervous system, the gut's own neural network, in the vagal fibers themselves. The maintenance happening during an extended fasting window isn't separate from the nervous system reset. It's part of the same event, running in parallel. The gut gets quieter, vagal tone improves, cortisol normalizes, autophagy deploys in the neural tissue, and the nervous system, for the first time in a long time, runs its own maintenance cycle without interruption. That low background hum, the one from a quiet Sunday morning lying there wired and tired, that's the sound of a system that hasn't had a complete maintenance window in a very long time. Not because something is broken, because the conditions for maintenance were never given. And here's what changes when they finally are. You don't feel it as a dramatic shift. It's subtler than that. It's a morning where waking feels less effortful, without changing what time you go to bed. A night where sleep goes deeper, without doing anything different before it. An afternoon where that low-grade tension you normalize as just how you are starts to lift. Not because you fixed something, because you stopped interrupting something the body was already trying to do. That hum you woke up with on a Sunday morning isn't a personality trait. It isn't the price of a busy life. It's a signal from a system that knows exactly how to repair itself, that has always known, that was doing it every single night for most of human history. It just needs the window, the silence, the absence of incoming signal long enough for the maintenance crew to finally get in. The body doesn't need convincing. It needs conditions, and now you know what those conditions actually are and why they're rarer than they should be. That's not a small thing. Most people spend years feeling that hum without ever understanding where it comes from. You just close that gap. What you just learned is the foundation, but it can be completely canceled out by one silent mistake that almost nobody catches. To make sure that's not happening to you, I handpicked the video showing up on your screen right now, and also in the card above. In it, I reveal the hidden error that 90% of people make when trying to live a healthier life. Building good habits means nothing if this one specific thing is quietly blocking your results from the inside. Click now to make sure you're not sabotaging your own progress without even knowing it. I'll see you there in just a few seconds. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If this content was valuable to you and helped you in any way, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming tips and information. And don't keep this to yourself. Share it with those you care about so that this chain of well-being grows even more. A big hug, and I wish you infinite health.